Hey, everybody. Are we on? Awesome. Well, welcome everybody to this live recording of the podcast, the On Purpose Growth podcast. My name is Bryan McDonald, partner here at On Purpose Growth. And what we do is we help people grow their revenue. This podcast is about mindsets, habits, techniques, strategies of top 1% income earners. And I'm really grateful to be here today. Hopefully, some of you people jump on live that are getting the notifications and join into the conversation, because today what we're going to be talking about is the power of focus in sales for entrepreneurs. And this is a great topic because when I'm out there interacting with clients or interacting with prospects, this idea of focus comes up a lot. So I'm really super excited to dive into this, and we're going to cover 5 parts. Well, maybe not necessarily parts, but 5 things that typically we see that are pitfalls to not having a focus in sales. And these pitfalls can come in the form of problems for individual sales professionals or problems that the whole sales system creates for anybody selling inside that system. So, what the 5 things are is not having a clear prospect profile. So, when you're not focused, people typically tend to not communicate or articulate a clear prospect profile. 2, they chase any deal that comes across their desk. And what that does is it causes chaos for business owners, sales professionals, because they don't know what deals to chase after and what deals not to. Third thing is they don't know what actions to take on a daily basis. So if you don't know who your prospect profile is, you're chasing a deal, you don't really know what you're going to do on a daily basis. And then that brings me to the 4th thing is what that does is it creates a reactionary kind of state of being versus a proactive and purposeful state of being. And when you're in a purposeful and proactive state of being, you can actually begin to create the results that you're looking for. And the last thing, and this is huge because it's what we do in our group sessions and one-on-one sessions with clients, is we talk to them about spending too much time with the wrong people and not enough time with the right people. And we see that a lot, is that when you don't have focus, you can't clearly define who to spend time with. So you're spending time with anybody. And the feedback that we get is that people are spending a lot of time with the wrong people and then just being frustrated. So let's go to the first one of not having a clear prospect profile. You know, I have conversations with prospects and clients all the time, and when I ask them, who's your prospect profile? I hear things like, well, that's an interesting thing that you asked that. I'm not really sure. I'll work with anybody. And when the conversation starts out that way, it's very a dangerous place to be, because if you don't have the ability to articulate that right off the bat about your prospect profile, then you don't really know who that person is. And if you don't know who that person is, you don't know who to spend time with, you don't know how to get to them, so you don't know what to do on a daily basis. You don't know how to communicate that to referral partners who can get you in front of those people, and many other things. But let me describe it this way, is that the human mind is a very, very interesting thing. And the way that it works is the more clear and defined we are about whatever we want or about anything, the faster the mind can actually locate that thing that we're looking for. So, for instance, if you think about the last time that you bought a car, you clearly define like what you wanted, you saw it, and then you bought it, and then for whatever reason, or for this specific reason, actually, after you bought it, for weeks after it, all you could see that car so often on the street wherever you went. It's because your mind had it very clearly in it that what your new car would be, and it's associating with that all the time. So when you create a clear prospect profile, it gives you the ability to see who those people are, communicate it to other people so they can see it faster, and eventually get what you want faster. So the more clear you are with yourself, the more you can find it, the more focused you can be, and the more clear you are with your referral network and network of help, the faster they're able to find them for you. And it's a death sentence. It's a complete death sentence if you're out there saying, you work with anybody who needs help with what I do. That's really tough because if that's what you're out there explaining, then you're most likely not getting a great result, or you're putting a lot of effort into getting great results. So be clear and create a clear prospect profile. Be clear about who that prospect profile is and create a clear one so you can be more focused. And what that leads into the next one is chasing any deal. Then you won't chase after any deal that comes across your plate because you'll know what you can enter into a conversation about and what not to. So yesterday I was having a conversation with a prospect who reached out to me and wanted a conversation. And the one thing that I kept hearing when I was listening to him over and over and over again is like, "Hey, I'll go get any deal. I'll go get any deal." And when I heard that, I asked him, does he feel like he's wasting his time a lot? And he said, yes, he was wasting his time, but he just wasn't. He was struggling to generate prospects and new deals. So he was just chasing after any deal. And what that did was it created even more anxiety for him. And it created a lot more wasted opportunity because if somebody just said, yes, I'll meet with you, he would go meet with them. And they would say things like, well, switching a vendor is really, really tough for us. So we wasted time going to meet with that person, wasted time with that person to really find out that this person wasn't a prospect. So when you don't have focus and you can't communicate your prospect profile, you'll chase after any deal and begin to waste time where you don't be needing to waste time and you become less effective. So that leads to the next thing in the power of focus in sales for entrepreneurs is that when you are focused, you have the ability to know what actions to take on a daily basis. You can wake up and not feel overwhelmed or not feel, what's the word I'm looking for, lost or in despair that today's not going to be a good day. Because if you know what actions to actually take that are tied to who you're going to spend time with and you're tied to your prospect profile, then it's easier to know what you're going to get done that day and feel accomplished. I was having a podcast conversation with someone, I don't know how long ago was that, maybe 3 months back, and he's got a real estate company that does investment properties for real estate investors, and he's got a cheat sheet. Curtis has the gentleman's name was Curtis Cooper Smith, and he's got a sheet that he's got the actions that he's going to take on a daily basis. He knows what specific actions to take on a daily basis. That if for some reason, you know, it hits the fan that he can't do things in the afternoon, he knows that if he accomplished these 10 things, that he was going to move his business forward because it got him in front of his prospect profiles. It created the deals that they wanted to do, and it added value to the marketplace that he wanted to add value. And he knew if he just got those things done, that deals will happen. So if you're waking up every day in despair, or you wake up in any day and feel, what am I going to do? Like, I have no idea what to do. All I want to do is get another deal. Start getting focused on all of these things, because the power of focus in sales for entrepreneurs is about gaining control of what you want and creating the results that you desire. And it allows you to have a clear prospect profile. It allows you not to chase any deal, and it allows you to know what actions to take on a daily basis when you wake up. And what that leads is into the fourth thing is that you can be purposeful and proactive and not reactive. See, when I was explaining about Curtis, his 10 things that he did on a daily basis were purposeful and proactive. They were not reactionary. He knew what he was going to do on a daily basis. And, you know, just to even describe what he shared with me in the podcast was that he was on track in a year to do to somewhere around 200 to 300 real estate transactions. And if you're in the real estate transaction space, you know that is a ton of transactions. They're not hurting. Life is good, and it's just getting better because he's consistent about those actions. So if you're chasing any deal and you don't know what you're going to do every day, and you don't know who your prospect profile is, you're around chasing you're reacting to any deal that comes across the table. And what this creates for people is stress and anxiety in their business. And I was working with a client recently who was doing this on a daily basis, going to wherever the deal was, not focusing on what his core services were, and just trying to get deals in other places, and he wasn't making the money that he was looking to make, that he desired to make. And he was actually even hiring people to support him and doing the same amount of revenue and making less money. And the challenge is that when we get into scarcity mode and we start, being reactionary and chasing any deal and not being clear about our prospect profile and saying, hey, I'll work with anybody, it distracts us from the most effective and the most profitable pieces of business we can go after. And a lot of times what this is focus is about not doing a lot of things and only doing a smaller amount of things. That's what focus is at the core. And what a lot of times people in this hustle economy is just hustle and do a lot and make things happen. It just doesn't work out because you don't know who to go after. You don't know who to spend time with. You're reacting consistently and not living purposefully. And you don't know what actions to take on a daily basis. So the power of focus in sales for entrepreneurs is key to doing away with all these things and creating the results and the empire that you want. So let's move on to the last thing that I've been weaving into this whole thing in the power of focus in sales for entrepreneurs. And what that is spending too much time with the wrong people and not enough time with the right people. See, when I was mentioning about Curtis or the and the other client, Curtis knew how to spend the right time, the more time with the right people and less time with the wrong people, because he was taking those purposeful actions to create those conversations that he needed to do. And the other person that I was talking about uh, wasn't focused, was very reactionary, and was spending too much time with the wrong people and not enough time with the right people. So what you have to do is you have to take a look at who am I spending time with and how am I spending time with them? Because if the time that you're spending with people isn't moving you closer to the result that you want, you're spending time with the wrong people. And it's not that people are bad or uh, that they um, have bad intentions or a waste of your time. What it is you owe it to yourself and your family. If you're there to create an empire, create results, create the income that you're looking for, you owe it to your family and your future to spend more time with the right people and less time with the wrong people. And being able to discern that and learn that distinction is key, because there's a lot of people out there that'll waste your time because they're not focused. They're not doing it on purpose. Uh, they maybe just give you a meeting because they feel bad because you've been following up for a year, or they don't know how to say no to you. So they just invite you in and, you know, drag you along. So you need to build a process to harness the power of focus and sales for entrepreneurs. And in that process, figure out how to get people out of the top of your funnel as fast as possible. So when you're moving them through your sales funnel, you're walking with them, and you're only walking with people that you know have a high probability of closing, that you're not, just wishing that they are going to close. You're creating a process that allows you to get into initial conversations where you can either say, yeah, I'm going to spend more time with this person, or no, I'm not, because they're not really motivated, or they really don't have enough need, or I really can't serve them. You have to be honest with yourself in this situation. You have to be true to yourself and set boundaries around the time that you spend with people, healthy boundaries. Right? Boundaries are not a negative or a positive thing; they're neutral. So set healthy boundaries around the people that you spend time with, and when you start spending time with the right people that are moving in the direction of saying yes, that have the pain or need that you serve and solve, that are referral partners that can actually help move your business forward and they want to help, that you're in networking meetings and networking groups that can actually get you closer to your goals, where you're not just drinking coffee and hoping that somebody's going to send you a deal. uh, in this process of figuring out who to spend time with and who not to spend time with, you need to think about these things and honor that for yourself. Because when you stop spending too much time with the wrong people and start spending too much time with the right people, you have more time to focus. You have more time to be purposeful and proactive. You have more time to chase the right deals and not the wrong deals. And you have more time to spend with the right prospects and not the wrong prospects, because you've given yourself enough time to actually focus and articulate to yourself, to your prospects, to your referral network, who your prospects are. Um, and all this will move you closer to getting what you want. So I appreciate everybody watching and tuning in to the power of focus and sales for entrepreneurs. I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment or a like or subscribe to the page if you're watching this for the first time. You can also reach out and connect to me through the links below. I do a lot on LinkedIn, so you can come reach me on LinkedIn. You can go check out OnPurpose Growth's website. And I appreciate you and everybody tuning in to this episode of the OnPurpose Growth podcast. My name is Bryan McDonald, partner in OnPurpose Growth, and thanks for tuning in. Take care.